Now that you understand the big picture about what the assignment involves, I want to go back through in detail and discuss some of the supporting documents and supporting checklists that this particular inspection involves. So I'm going to go right back to the very top of the main checklist here, the initial assignment checklist, and we'll just start from the top and continue down. So here we go. Number 1, I'm picking up all these items, getting them in my car, getting ready to go. Number 2, I'm printing all these documents. Number 3, I send the email. Number 4, I drive to the location where I'm going to pick up the supplies. And here we go. Number 5, drive to the subject property. You park on the opposite side of the street from the subject property, and now you review the HPIR and circle items of interest. So here we go. We've got to find the HPIR and get that out and start working on it. There are 2 companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that are in charge of completing these HPIR forms. Each company uses a completely different format for the HPIR form. However, the data and the information, the questions, are all just about the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over each form one at a time, and I'm going to go over an overview of the form, and then we're going to go back and look at the details inside each form. So at the top of the HPIR, you'll see just some basic information about the house. Then it moves to Part 1. Part 1 is what they call the conditions for conveyance. Then you'll see a bunch of questions here and itemized list of repairs. Part 2 is the initial inspection report. Then it has detailed questions about specific functions of the house. Part 3 is what they call the property condition report. It's kind of an overview, a summary of everything that they've noted above. And then they have the additional details and comments section. And here, a lot of times, they will write a summary of everything else that's in the form, just kind of the highlights or the items of interest. And here's the second page that gives you more details. It shows you exactly what the comment section looks like. Let's go take a closer look at this form. We require for you to review the HPIR before you enter the property and complete an inspection. And we also ask that you circle items of interest. Let me tell you what I mean by items of interest. Those items are anything on this form that indicates that there's an issue, or maybe something that has common issues that they say is in good condition. Anything that looks abnormal or anything that just catches your eye, that's something that you might want to pay special attention to when you walk around the property. And part of it is just to verify that this form is accurate. So that kind of gives you an idea. You'll learn more about what that means the more assignments you'll do, and I'll walk you through this form and tell you exactly what I would circle as I review this form before I walk through the house. We don't require that you read the entire form in detail. However, it's educational. It doesn't hurt. There's just some areas that we don't require you to read that might cause more questions than give answers. So we just require that you read in detail certain specific sections. I'm going to go over those sections now. So the date of assignment was 10/13/12, and that was also the date of the inspection. Here it lists the FHA case number. This is the number that we reference in another checklist that we say write this number at the top of the sign-in sheet. This one says that the property is vacant. Now, if it says that the answer to this one is no, that would be an item of interest, something you'll want to circle, so that whenever you walk around the property, you'll look for indications that might show that somebody's actually occupying the property. On this one, it states the inspector's name. Then it goes to number 6 here, and it tells you that this is a single family, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-story house with an attached garage, no detached garage, no carport, and it has a slab foundation. So if you see, looking at the outside, that this is obviously a 1-story, or you have a question about that, you might circle the 2-story item there, and that might be your item of interest. If it does not look like a regular house, a regular single family home, if it looks like it might be a townhome or a condo or a duplex, but this single family home item is checked, then you would want to mark that as an item of interest, something you'd want to check out later on. Just for your information, it has slab checked here. If you get into the house and you stomp on the ground and it sounds hollow, then that would indicate that it might not be a slab foundation, and so that's something that we would want to notate. So I just wanted to give you a little scoop on what a slab is. Lockbox information, this gives us the key code, and it tells us which key we want to supply to you. and we have those ready for you. You don't really have to pay attention to that. Let's see here. Condo subdivision, not applicable. Homeowners association, if applicable. That says NA, but you noticed on the drive in that there's a neighborhood pool. That would be something you'd want to circle so that we could check out later. Pre-conveyance activities by mortgagee. Okay, so this gets down to some details that you really may not understand, and we may not understand entirely either. It says, did the mortgagee complete the initial securing? Well, we don't know who completed it. Probably it was somebody else. Probably it was the mortgagee, who knows. But if the property is not secure, then that would be a difference between what you're noticing in reality and what the HPIR says. Did the mortgagee winterize the property? I'll go into detail later on to show you how you can determine whether a property has been winterized or not. If it says, did the mortgagee winterize the property, one way or the other. If it says no, then that might be something that you should circle to see if it has been winterized since. Mortgagee maintained the lawn. If the lawn is over 6 inches high and needs to be mowed, then that would be an issue. And it asks if the property is in broom swept condition. Broom swept is not pristine clean, like they may not have taken Lysol and scrubbed down the walls. However, it does mean that there's not little bits of stuff on the carpet. So that's what that's referring to. We want you to pay special attention to Part 3, which is the Property Condition Report section of this report. Now, we skipped over Part 1, which was the Conditions for Conveyance, and Part 2, which is the Initial Inspection Report. Although these parts may reveal a couple of details here and there, for the most part it's going to be confusing and may cause more questions than give answers. So if you just skip straight to Part 3 here, this will give you a nice little summary of everything that the inspector noted is wrong with the house. And so let's go over that right now. I'm going to read every word of this section. So starting at the top, Part 3, Property Condition Report. Then you'll see across the top here you have the different columns, item description, and then it starts to go into the condition status of that item. You have the OK column. The M stands for missing, the D stands for damaged, the NA stands for not applicable. Then it gives you the functionality of the item description of the particular item, and then it asks if it was actually functional, and the inspector is allowed to write a few notes in there. So let's just start with number 1 here. A, cooling air conditioner. It says it's okay. Heating and furnace says it's okay. HVA system duct says it's okay. So let's just move to the center column. It is tested and functional, so that's good. And then off to the right it says the HVA system was operational when controls were activated. Sometimes you will actually see that in the far left column it'll say it's okay, and then the far right column they mention that there's a particular issue with it. And the reason why this happens is because a lot of times these inspectors will use the same form template for every single property, and they'll leave an old answer from a previous inspection in one area and forget to change it in another. So let's go to B here, electrical wiring. They say it's okay. Other and other NA. The electrical was tested and is functional. The system was tested with a generator, and no, there were no noted deficiencies. Very good. Stove range oven. It says that was missing, and the kitchen cabinets were okay, and other is NA. So built-in appliances are tested and functional. It says NA, so that's interesting. Let's move to the comments section. It says there were no major appliances in place at the time of the inspection. So I think that maybe it says NA because they didn't have an appliance to test. There you go. So let's move to D, plumbing. It says the plumbing system was okay. The sink was okay. Other, NA. Then it asks water supply tested and functional. Yes. Pressure was applied using an air compressor and no leaks are detected. So all's good there. Water heater is okay. The water heater functional? Yes, it is. C note 17E. 17E would be the comments, the detailed comments section where they can just write stuff in there, and so you'll want to take a look at that when we get to that part of the inspection. So next it says sewer septic system is okay. The toilet is okay, and other is NA. Sanitary and plumbing is functional. Yes, it is. There were no noted deficiencies at the time of the inspection. And then they say sewer, just I guess to let us know that it's a city sewer system. And on to G, the roof was okay, and it says yes, the roof is in acceptable condition. There are no noted deficiencies at the time of the inspection. Very good. Okay, so I might circle on this section that the stove oven range is missing. I might circle that little area, and I would circle where it says C note on 17E, because those are two items that I'd want to come back and look at. Everything else says it's okay, so basically whenever I'm walking through the house, I'm wanting to drill down a little further on those two areas, and if I see something else in the house that's messed up, that's not noted here, then I'm going to want to probably definitely take photos of those additional items that aren't listed and make some additional notes on the initial inspection input form. Here is the comments and details section of the form. So here on the left side, it gives you the item number, and then it actually gives you the comments and details of whatever it's referencing, indicated by that item number. So you could go back through the form and find where 11G is, and then this gives you a detail as to what is going on with that particular item. It says there's fallen, damaged fence in the rear, loose rock in the rear, ant bed, protruding hazards in the front. So that's probably dealing with the some exterior issues. I'd want to circle that and make sure that you get some good photos of that whenever you go around to take your photos. And make sure that all those items are still in fact issues and nothing's been remedied. If something's been remedied since they made the comments on this form, then you're going to want to notate that. 11G says protruding nail, protruding hazards in the garage. 15G, 1 cubic yard of debris, fallen, damaged fence in the rear, loose rock in the rear, and ant bed protruding hazards in front. That's a little redundant, but it does let you know that there's some debris that's out in the yard. 17E is what we saw back there in the property condition report section. It says there's no noted deficiencies, and then they give you serial numbers of all these items. So I guess what he was just wanting to do was to direct us to this area so that we could look and match up the serial number with the water heater there that he was referencing. Garbage disposal is a Badger, that's the brand. Alarm is disconnected. There's a garage door opener, it's a Genie brand, and there he gives you lock set information. And again, another comment just kind of giving the issues of everything there that's kind of in a nutshell. So that's the details of the report. Those are the comments. I would just kind of circle that whole section and go back and make sure that everything that's noted here is noted in my report as well, and that I have photos of all that stuff. And if I see any differences between what's happening in reality and what this form says, then I'm going to note all that stuff. Remember, I said that there were two different formats that you'll find the HPIRs in. And so this is the second format. Let's just go over this. We're going to do an overview of the entire form, and then we'll come back and look at the detailed areas that we want you to pay close attention to. So here we are. Part 1, you'll have conditions for conveyance. This thing is a few pages long. Part 2 is the initial inspection report. And this thing is a couple pages long. Part 3 is the property condition report. This is kind of like the summary of everything that this inspector found in the report. And then lastly, we will find the detailed comments section where they can just handwrite notes ad hoc in this thing. As we drill down to the details on this, you'll notice that it's very similar to the other format of HPIR. So in the top section, you will see the date of assignment, date of inspection, the FHA case number. Again, that's the number that you're going to write on the top of the sign-in sheet. It'll notate whether the house is vacant or not. By the way, I've never seen a house that isn't vacant, but there's always a first. It gives you the property address, the property type, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, how many stories, the type of covered parking, if there is any, type of foundation. And we move to number 8. It gives you information about the lockbox, the name and address of the condominium or subdivision if applicable, and the HOA information if applicable. Number 10, it moves to pre-conveyance activities of the mortgagee. Again, these are things that might be a little bit more confusing, might cause more questions than give answers. Did the lender complete initial securing of the property? They say yes. Did the lender properly and adequately winterize the property? They said no. I'd be circling that. Is the lawn maintenance acceptable? They said yes. Is the property in broom swept condition? They said no. I'd be circling that. Is the property in an HOA? And they say no. Okay. The next section we want you to pay close attention to is Part 3, which is the property condition report. Let's just go over that in detail. The top there, on the top row, you'll see the column headings that start with item description, item condition, item functionality, and then it describes how the functionality is determined and the test notes. So, item 1, cooling air conditioning, says it's okay, says it was tested and is functional, and then they explain how they tested that. Item 2, heating and furnace, says it's okay. The next one, HVAC system duct, is okay. The electrical wiring, says other. Item condition, says okay on all those. Is the electrical supply tested and functional? Says yes, they tested it with a generator. Next is the stove range oven. This one says that it's okay, and they are tested and functional. They tested it with a generator. The refrigerator, stove, oven, dishwasher, disposal, microwave range, hood was all functional at the time of the inspection. So I'd actually circle the word refrigerator there just because these houses don't always have refrigerators. I would say the majority of them don't, and even if it says that it has a refrigerator, chances are it's going to be gone by the time you get there. So next it says kitchen cabinets, they're all okay. Next, the water heater, it's okay. Is the water heater functional? Yes, it is. The electric water heater was drained. There's no visible damage noted. Very good. The sewer and septic system it's all okay, and it was tested and functional. The roof is okay, and plumbing, sink, other is really whacked out there. Looks like there's a little computer glitch. You'll see that all the time, but you know that it's in the column that's okay is marked there, so no big deal. And then you can see the results of the test to the right. So that's it, pretty clean. And now we move to the additional item details, explanations, and comments section. So let's just go to the first column heading here, which is the inspection report item number, example 15A. That references the specific item in the report that it wants to elaborate on here, and then it gives you the comments and or additional details section. So item 18, you'd go back in the report and see what item 18 is, and then it gives you the details here. Utilities, water meter number, gas meter number, not applicable. Electric meter is that. So you're going to probably want to circle that the gas meter is in A, and you're going to maybe want to see if the gas meter is missing. Item 15, detectors installed. Recommended installing new smoke detectors, $200. So you're going to want to circle that and see if you can find any smoke detectors in the house. 11A, type of HVAC is 2 electric split. HVACs are functional, no issue there. Next item, interior blinds, cable wires, low-hanging lights, $25. Exterior fence damage, $50. So those are all items that you're going to want to get pictures of. Circle those and just verify that those issues are still present. Item 15B, installed 1 doorknob, and it gives you a key code there for the doorknob. On the front door, rear door was a sliding glass door. So that's all fine and dandy. Stains on the carpet, $200. So you're going to want to see if the carpet has been removed, or see if you can actually find some of those stains and get some photos of them. Notate where the locations of them are on your input form. We'll go over that later. Some minor wall damage, wood trim damage around the new window, fence damage. Those are all things that you're going to want to notate and get photos of. And it gives you serial numbers of all the appliances. And lastly, damaged front door frame with the frame nailed secure, and they think that it's going to take $150 to cure that. So that's something you're going to want to get pictures of as well. Okay, so now we've reviewed the HPIR. That took a lot longer than it'll probably take whenever you do it, whenever you're on site at the property. And once you're sitting in front of the house reviewing this thing, it'll make a lot more sense to you because the house is going to be right there. So you'll be able to put some of this stuff in context. But now that we're done with that, we're going to move back to the main checklist and see what the next item on the main checklist is for us to complete. Let's go take a look.